it's Jennifer here, and it's been a while since we've done a witchy haul. I believe our last one was Beltane, and we are at the end of August now, so this is going to be our somewhere between autumn equinox or Babon and Lammas. I got that backwards, but you know what I mean. So, anyways, this is our witchy haul for then. I think I go through Miss Tarot and Miscellaneous first, and then get into books because I discovered something truly diabolical in my business life. Why it didn't dawn on me? But apparently, I can buy books wholesale with my business account. That would have saved me a lot of money over the years, and I've been a naughty, naughty little witch. But I've been buying a lot of books for the shop, so like sometimes I'm like one for the shop, one for me. Or sometimes one of the things with I'm just gonna put this here since I don't know if you've watched our videos before, maybe you don't aren't aware. We do have a physical brick and mortar shop at with Angel's House of Design in Easton, PA. So I have been ordering more books and tarot and oracle decks and things like that for the shop. I don't have them on our website yet because I just don't have the really capacity to facilitate that as well. So that's more of an in-person thing. Obviously, if there's something you ever see in the shop and would like, us to, ship or hold or pick up for you, we can do that as well. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, we'll start with, I haven't been buying a lot of crystals lately just because I have a lot of crystals apparently. But so now I kind of pick up things if it strikes my fancy, or it's different. So most of the times I'm picking up like carvings and statement pieces and things like that. But haven't picked up much in the past couple months that I'm aware of, and I just threw it over here. But this is an interesting. I got this at Kindred Spirits down the street from me in Hellertown. This is a fossilized moss tower crystal. I just like the markings on it. I know the lighting's a little weird, so I'm just kind of trying to show. It almost looks like, uh, see, it sort of has that sandy, but it's also really dark, so it kind of looks a little bit like a smoky quartz point. But I like it, and I completely forgot the name of this. It looks like labradorite, but it's not. I'm trying to get it where you can it has a really cool like purple flash to it. I just don't know if the light is going to catch it right that you can see it very well. And I don't remember what it's called, and I forgot to write it down, but hey, look, there you can see the reflection of my living room window. Anyways, it's got a lot of purple flash the way labradorite does. I don't know. Do I? Hold on. Might be able to show the flash a little better with my. I'm gonna make a dorky dad joke. My flashlight. Look at the flash in that. It's. Hold on. I think it's my ring light is not helping, and I've got a weird glare through the windows. It's not gonna. Huh. I can see a little bit behind. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to blind you. But yeah, it's kind of got like a labradorite kind of vibe to it. I'm gonna stop blinding you and myself. Put that down. And I got both those at Kindred Spirits. This is haven't done anything with it yet. I got an absinthe making kit. This is from High Wind Herbs. High Wind Herbs. I get a lot of my if you're ever interested in getting some of the things like they usually have a lot of what I use for like our flying ointments. Like if you're looking for belladonna, you just have to physically call them because um they run into the same issues I have of selling them on their website. So like that's where I get my European Mandrake. It's the only place I trust for my European Mandrake because most people sell you American Mandrake, which isn't a Mandrake. It's a violent purgative. And so unless you really like barf shitting yourself and puking your brains out, don't take American uh Mandrake. So I get a lot of those things there, like henbane, belladonna, mandrake. I think they have some other stuff too. I just don't remember off the top of my head. But I got an absinthe kit. At some point in time, I'm gonna make me some absinthe. Moving along. Tarot decks. I didn't get too many tarot decks this time. Oh, okay. Well, sometimes you have to go back to the beginning to understand the story. And I picked up a copy of the first tarot deck I ever owned, which has since been lost to the sands of time because I probably got it about 1994 maybe, but I did not start out with the Rider Waite. In fact, the Rider Waite is my least favorite deck. I actually use it for decorations for my Halloween Christmas tree. I use the Major Arcana for that. So I do not like the Rider Waite is my least favorite card tarot deck. But the first one I ever got was the Hanson Roberts one. Similar. This one I felt even now I feel more connected to it. I mean, the illustrations are pretty basic. I don't know what year it originally came out. I mean, it has to have been out for a long ass time because I got my copy in 1994. It's not like the best art, but this was like the first deck I ever really connected with. I'm just showing you some of the cards so you can see. This is the one, if I was going to use like a basic deck, this is probably the one that I would go with as opposed to a Rider Waite. It's the Hanson Roberts. That is my old school, the deck that I lost my tarot virginity on, if you will. So that is one. And I'm gonna have to start making, oh no, who knew? Oh, nope, that's not it. There we go. And so what I've been doing in some of the stuff I've been purchasing for the shop, like I want to have things that I can speak on, that I can say, this deck is amazing for this reason. I've used it. I find it really effective if this is what you're going to. I want to be able to speak it. I just don't want to be selling things that I don't know shit about, because I bought something that looked cute online. And I don't know. So this one is, sorry, I didn't even tell you what this was. This is the Hermetic Tarot. This deck is black and white mostly. Um, it's got very different imagery. I have to study it more and work with it because you're looking at, you know, you've got some alchemical symbols in here. This is the Spirit of Ether. So there are some different cards, like so it'll say like the Foolish Man, but also the Spirit of Ether, the Magician, the Magus of Power. So it kind of goes through. I'm just gonna get out of the Major Arcana into. So like it'll say Knight of Wands, Prince of the Chariot of Fire. So it's got some different, almost in the way like the Thoth deck does. It kind of has like a sub thing. So like Six of Wands is Lord of Victory. So and that looks like it's that looks untoward. Anyways, so this is just a very different deck. Sometimes I like to explore decks that are just very different from what I traditionally use. I don't know, should be under here. Ah, there it is. The deck I use this is the deck I use all the time is the Oraculum Leviathan, by Asenath Mason and Bill Duvendak. As much as I hate Become a Living God, this is like my favorite deck ever. Expensive as fuck, but my favorite deck. So this is the Hermetic Tarot. This is one I think that I want to work with a little bit more so I can speak on it, but I think it would be a good one for us to have probably in the shop at some point. And getting cards back in the card box sometimes, always one that just doesn't want to go in. You over there? And then the next one I got to check out as well is Tarot of the Abyss, and that is by Anne Turian, I believe. This is another black and white deck. I like this one. I like the artwork on it. I haven't gotten into it too much. I do like that the book has like a Baba Yaga vibe to it. So this is a little more like illustration wise. You've got the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess. So I like this deck, art visually speaking, for a black and white deck. I like that because there's some decks I have a really hard time reading from. Something just made a really weird sound. Anyways, Um, so I tend to be more visually colorful, so I don't have a lot of black and white decks. Um, these might actually be the only two black and white decks I have now that I'm like kind of glancing over there. I tend to be very vibrant, visual, like that's kind of how I am. And I am surprised, but I have never owned a deck of Lenormand cards, and I had Le, a Lenormand. I keep wanting to call it Leonormand and add extra letters to it. But I never have worked with these cards before. I had a reading because we do a monthly tea and tarot event at our shop, and I had a reading using from someone. Sometimes we do like trades or we have like a topic or something. So I had my first Lenormand. There's no Leo, it's Lenormand reading, and I was kind of intrigued by the decks because it was just very different than I know absolutely nothing about reading the Normand cards. They're very different. So you have things like the Rider, Clover, Ship, House. So it's a little, they're a little different in that sense. So I'm going to be learning something new and how to do Lenormand. And first thing I'm going to learn how to do is pronounce it correctly. Apparently, I'm failing the fuck out of that. So yeah, I want to explore like, if we're gonna carry Lenormand decks in the shop, I want to explore which decks I want to carry. Sometimes I have to experiment with things to see if it's the right fit because not everything is. And I need to organize my books by theme because we got a lot of books. Hi, have we not met? I'm a giant book nerd. Um, hold on. We are gonna make categorical piles, kind of. They're sort of thematic. That could kind of go in that pile. Hold on, let's see what we got over here. Like I said, ooh, that was a heavy pile of books. Those can go there. That can go. All right. Oh, wait, you should go over here. All right. I got a lot of books, so we're gonna kind of go top down. I haven't read this yet, but I do like the other work that she does. This is Baphomet Revealed by Heather Lynn, PhD. I have read some of her other books, and I've been very impressed with her scholarly approach to things, even topics that are, I believe it's Oh, the other book. So I've read Evil Archaeology and the Anunnaki Connection. I appreciated her work on the Anunnaki Connection because it was debunking a lot of like the neo-Yahtzee crap that on the ancient alien side of thing that's hella racist and hella problematic. She approaches it in a way that isn't, and I really appreciated that about her. So I am looking forward to reading this, The Mysteries and Magic of the Sacred Icon, Baphomet Revealed. This I probably will get a copy of for the I will get carry in the shop. Um, because love me some Baphomet. All right, I'm just gonna make a pile somewhere. And what else do we have? Okay, so this one, I think actually S. Conley recommended this, or I saw her post about it, but it's the first book I got is Walking with Demonic Spirits by Taylor Ellwood, who is a very prolific art writer. Lots of multi-genre stuff. So I haven't read this yet. Um, there's people whose opinions of other books I take into account, and usually if Steph is recommending something, I'll usually check it out. Usually goes immediately into my cart, because that's a person whose opinion I trust. So, haven't read this yet. It's How to Work with the Demonic Spirits and Get Consistent Results. Walking with Demonic Spirits. So, what else do we got? I am getting into what I really want to, this is something I want to explore more. is looking at the folkloric devils when you're looking in different pagan practices, like the devils, the witch's devil, and things like that, as opposed to the Satan, the Christianity Satan devil kind of thing. So, this book is called Tales and Legends of the Devil, The Many Guises of the Primal Shapeshifter. I have not read this one yet, so this is on my to-do. I read a lot, like on average. Um, I read at least 50 books a year, if not more. Last year I was up into the 70s, and I cannot hold a candle to my brother who's easily into the hundreds or 200s of books. So this is different stories. Like the one I just opened up to is called Kathy and the Devil. It's a story from Bohemia. So it's got different here's one, the cunning school teacher, the devil from Transylvania. So this is also going to feature into my own, explorations into my Slavic ancestry and paganism and reconnecting with that. Because there is a lot of demonology in those, pagan practices, and I want to have a better understanding of the folkloric devils from different cultures and from that side, because that is entirely different than the Satan of Christianity or the Satan of Satanism or the Satan of demonolatry. It's kind of, there will be a video about the distinctions at some point in time. So I've actually read this book before. I think I read the audio, I had the audiobook for it, but I wanted a hard copy of it because I'm hoarding books and knowledge because we live in a scary world. This is Aradia and or The Gospel of the Witches by Charles Leland, a modern introduction and commentary. I've read this before. I think this is one of those seminal texts that whether you work in this spirit realm or not, I think it's just one of those books you should read. Um, you'll notice I don't do a lot. I'm a little Wicca. I don't really do a lot in the Wicca realm. Like I started there, believe it or not, kind of. Like I have a couple Scott Cunningham books, and I have uh The Spiral Dance by Starhawk. This is another book that was suggested by S. Conley, and this is from another from Darkerwood Publishing, I believe, and this is Hand of Glory by M. King. Demonolatry Experiments with the Hands of God. I have their other book, something Divine Meditations, Infernal Meditations, Demonic Meditations. It's called. Maybe it's in here because the book is over there. That one has a lot of really good meditations in it. I haven't gotten into this one yet, but like I said, I read a lot. And like a lot of times when I read these books, I like, there's some things I'll transfer over into like, oh, this sounds like a cool spell. I'm gonna adapt it into something that I work with on my own. All right, so this I got just because, like, why the fuck not? This is the Aleister Crowley collection. I am not the biggest fan of Aleister Crowley. I spend more time making fun of him. In the same way I make fun of Morrissey and the Smiths. But so this is a collection that has different, so we've got Clouds Without Water, Moonchild, and the Book of the Law. There's some other stuff in here as well. I haven't really looked through this. Um, but I was like, you know. Another one I haven't looked at but sounded interesting is The Craft of Tubal Cain, Traditional Witchcraft, and the Legacy of Robert Cochrane by Kenneth Johnson, forward by Shani Oates. So this is something I was interested in finding out more information about Tubal Cain, because I don't really know a whole lot in that aspect. I just had an experience last year um with a biblical entity, whose name just escaped, Zyla, who is wife of Lamech, who is the mother of Nama and Tubal Cain. So I wanted to know a little more about Tubal Cain and Nama as well. But I have not read this yet, but So it looks like an interesting. I read a lot of historical stuff. I'm a giant nerd. Um, that's what you get. And this I've heard good stuff about. I don't know much about, but this is Stellas Daemonum, The Order of the Demons by David Crowhurst with forewords by Lon Milo Duquette and Stephen Skinner. It's a hefty tome that I don't know much about, but I'm excited to dig into. So some of these books I find all these are all things I found on like whole like on like fair and like wholesale stuff. So we'll go. Okay. Next, I really actually I like her work a lot as like in referential kind of way, Judika Illis. I have her Encyclopedia of Spirits, the 5,000 Spells, and the Encyclopedia of Witchcraft. I need to get the one on Saints something and Mystics, but this is the one I got on Daily Magic, so it's got spells and rituals for making the whole year magical. Because you know what? Like everyone, sometimes I just am like I want to do something I have no idea what, or I'm stuck. And, just to open up on, a good practice is, what's today? We are, huh, it's weird. I opened up to September 27th. That's actually the anniversary that will be the second anniversary of when I've moved out of Philadelphia. And that is Saints and Spirit Day, La Syrienne. Hmm, interesting. Stella Maris, Yamai. So it's very watery. Huh. Neat. I was just, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Was looking at September 28th because that's like a September 28th is a very ancestral, powerful day for me. I might make that like my ancestral feast day because not only were my grandmother, her mother, and her mother-in-law were all born on September 28th. And the weird thing is, they all have the exact same name. Or ended up with the exact same name because, well, my grandmother married into our family, or the Vatsa side, and then so I guess apparently my Ukrainian ancestors didn't know any names beyond Anna, John, George, and Mary, so everyone's named Anna. And they all were born on September 28th. So yeah, that would be interesting. See, this book gave me an idea for like that. Maybe that's the day I celebrate my ancestors yearly. Um, so I was looking to see what today was and got distracted. Oh, 23rd. Well, today is the Nemesia, the festival of Nemesis, or Vulcania, the feast of Vulcan. So it's got different things. It's got a lot of stuff from different traditions in here. It was something I just passed on. Joan of Arc, and apparently there's some Italian folk custom involving artichoke divination. So her stuff is very varied and very informative. So I like it. Like I just like to sometimes have reference things on hand because sometimes people ask me for advice for doing something, and not everyone works with the demonic. I'm not going to go have someone do a love spell with Citry or Seer when they've never worked with them. So, I swear I'm getting close to the end of the books. This is one I picked up. This is more related to my Poison Path stuff. I believe that this is flower essences from the witch's garden, plant spirits and magic herbalism from Nicholas Pearson, forward by Christopher Penzac. I believe he spoke at the Botanica Obscura conferences that I spoke at. I didn't speak this year, but the previous 2 years I did. So I don't do a whole lot with flower essences, but I was just kind of interested in learning that practice. Because I don't have gardens. I live in an HOA right now. I can't really, I mean, I could have a couple flowers out front, but not enough to do that kind of thing with. So the next cluster is pretty much, unless you're interested in Eastern European stuff, history, Slavic paganism, you can probably cut out here. But if you are, it's awesome books to share. So, um, I'll do these two first. So these are more, you probably see these type of books everywhere. Um, but like the regional historical books. So I picked up ones on the Ukrainians of Greater Philadelphia and the Ukrainians of Delaware Valley, because it's sort of the generalized area I live. Just kind of curious about that history of when, you know, I'm trying to piece together my familial history. So it's taking a lot of historical research because apparently people didn't write shit down. Well, also, I guess they did write shit down. I'm learning Ukrainian. I cannot read it in I cannot read Cyrillic in cursive. I can read it in print. If they were in print, I can sound it out and figure out, usually figure out the words or sound it out enough that I can look up what the word is if I don't know it. I can't read the handwriting though. The cursive, it's very hard. Um, so I've been picking up some books on folk tales because folk tales figure heavily in, get this, folk magic. So I have a book on Ukrainian folk tales by R. Nisbit Bain. It's Ukrainian folk tales, Cossack fairy tales, and folk tales. So um got that. I also got books on Czech and Hungarian folk tales. These just sort of, they're like basically like compilation books of folk tales from the regions. While I am predominantly Ukrainian, as I'm going through my ancestry, borders change a lot. So sometimes we're Ukrainian, Slovak land, Czechoslovakia, Czechia, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, um, Poland. We got the Carpathians covered in the Black Sea entirely, um, which is cool. We've got. I'm culturally claiming vampires, Dracula, and Bathory, and I'm also claiming Saint Olga of Kiev as my cultural ancestors. So these are more historical books. As I'm talking about Saint Olga of Kiev, a lot of what we know of Saint Olga of Kiev, and I'm gonna do a different video solely on her because she's like my favorite historical badass ever. Um, like she makes the most epic of Game of Thrones episodes look like a G-rated like Disney film, if you know what I'm saying. But this is the primary chronicle of the Kyivan Rus. As I said, Cyrillic is interesting to read. Like I'd have to like this would be POV. I'm not sure. I think that is just the soft sign, then ST, and then that small b isn't an actual word. That's just an inflection to make it a soft sign. Po post pov povst, and that would be BR, or actually probably a V sound. So that would be VREMENN, soft sound I. The X is an H sound, and then I think that's the small b sound or the soft sign. So this is the early history of the foundry of the Kievan Rus. And with the political climate that is going on with the war in Ukraine, um, and the Russia. Um, this is important history to know because the Soviet Union and Russia have been fucking Ukraine and Eastern Europe since like here. Because the Kievan Rus is founded. I mean, we're talking like the Rurik dynasty. I mean, this is like the 900s, not the 1900s, the 900s. So, um, knowing your history. So again, this is how I'm putting together my origin story, as you were. And I think I've already read, I think I read the audiobook for this, but this is The Gates of Europe, by A History of the Ukraine by Serhei Polki. Polki? Serhei. Russia stole our G's, apparently. There's not a lot of words in Ukrainian that have G's in them. So where we would think of like Sergey or Serge or something like that, it's Serhei. 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 So this is again about, the history of Ukraine. Whereas this was more the primary chronicle, like this is something that was written that long ago. This is more of a modern history. But it goes back to the Kyivan Rus as well. And the last one, leaving the most ominous for last, but um again, this is part of this. This is the Red Famine, Stalin's War on Ukraine by Anne Applebaum. I haven't read this one yet, but um Russia has been genociding the Ukraine and Eastern Europe for a very long time, and this is about the Holodomor that happened in um, the Soviet Union, Soviet Russia, whatever time. It was a kind of man-made disaster famine, forced famine on the Ukrainians. And I am willing to bet that, given the timeline, and that allegedly my great grandfather came from school in Western Ukraine from a very large family, and everyone with my last name today can fit in a minivan. So it's not hard to do the math as to um I've got a lot of missing generations and a lot of apparently genocided ancestors. So my ancestor work is really fucking intense. Intense. Like really intense. And that's gonna be a story for another day. So I'm gonna wrap up here with hope you enjoy all my myriad of book recommendations. My life is just piles of books everywhere because despite being busy as fuck all the time, I still find time to read a lot. Because I need to know all the things. I need the correct facts. I need to know the entire history of something, not just the TLDR, the TikTok hot take, or any of that. I want the full information. So, anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Be sure to follow us on social media, sign up for e-newsletter, and remember, y'all, algorithms suck. Bye!